Hey patrons, how's it going? This is Big Lair here in Jack's Private Coffee Corner. It is the 25th of November. It's about 10 o'clock. This is usually the time that I've already finished my video and have it uploaded. Today I'm a little behind. Why am I behind? I'm not quite sure. I normally get up at 6:30 with my wife and my youngest son. My other two kids are up before that. And then go about my day. However, I actually could sleep. I could actually sleep for 6 hours without waking up, and I got up this morning, turned my alarm off, and normally I don't go back to bed. I laid back down, and boom, the next thing I know, I wake up. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, and my kids are off at school, and my wife is in another room trying to be quiet so she doesn't wake me up. Pretty awesome, huh? Now, interestingly enough, talking about being able to sleep for 6 hours, which maybe a lot of people would say, well, what's the big deal? I can sleep for, 7 or 8 hours. Well, for probably the last 2 years, I've only been able to sleep 8 hours uninterrupted without waking up. Without waking up, I've been able to sleep for 8 hours twice in 2 years. Since coming back to Japan. And I wake up every 2 to 3 hours. Sometimes I'm lucky, I can get 4 hours, but I'll wake up and realize that I've been dreaming like crazy, just these crazy intense dreams, and it's been that way now for 2 years. It's a little frustrating, right? Because it'd be nice to get 8 hours of sleep. I'm getting like bags under my eyes, and at first I thought it was from, using a computer a lot, but then I realized, oh yeah, I haven't gotten a good night's sleep, only 2 nights in 2 years. That's not a very good percentage there, is it? So anyway, and I'm acquainted with a number of people with psychic abilities, and everyone has said to me, oh, you're going through this big awakening event, and you're getting these downloads of information, and that's why one of the reasons you wake up every so many hours is to give you a break to process everything. And in between all of that, if maybe that's true, I don't know. I'm gonna assume it's true because people have told me, more than one person has told me that, and they don't know each other, so probably it's true. And I have woken up and known lots of stuff and thought to myself, how do I know this? I've never studied it. It's not anything I've ever dealt with before, but I just know. Now, what was I going to say? Oh, and then on top of all of that, on top of having all of these dreams, in some of the dreams I do remember people teaching me things. I actually do remember people teaching me things. There's a number of people who are teaching me, and I won't go into who they are or what they're teaching me, but I do remember that. Not always. It's very infrequently that I remember it, but I have very intense dreams. And on top of that, if you remember that book that I put out, this book called The Fifth Realm. I don't remember the exact title now because I'm thinking of all kinds of other stuff, but it was about this fifth realm, this other reality that I've been to, and these beings who live in this realm, while they look human, they communicate in a very interesting way. And I created these poems based based on how these individuals communicate. They communicate, like using rhymes, and it's very interesting. Well, so besides, having all of this, being taught all of these things for whatever awakening is going to occur with me, I'm also going to these alternate realities, and I wake up and remember those things. In fact, I recently, speaking of the fifth realm and those characters, there was one character in the book. I don't know if you've read the book or not, and I've only read, one of the poems, but there's a character called Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss, not to be confused with the author, the children's author, Dr. Seuss, but the name sounds the same, right? Dr. Seuss. And he met me and took me to this other reality. And it was really wild. That one took me, well, this is the first time I'm talking about it. Actually, it took me a while to wrap my head around that one, because I couldn't put my finger on why things were so different there. And then I realized, oh, this is a fifth dimension reality. Yeah, it's almost impossible to describe with words. Let's just say it was super intense. And so this Dr. Seuss meets me, takes me there, and we'll say I'm doing this while I'm dreaming, but I would call this a lucid dream. And I would also say, well, I really was there, because I had all of my senses, all of my 5 senses were heightened to a level that, I remember thinking to myself that my senses were so heightened in this world that I felt like electricity would shoot off my fingers for some reason. I don't know why I had that idea when I was there, but so I'm there with this Dr. Seuss, and he said, I need to take care of some people, and you actually have been acquainted with one of the people in the reality that you're from, and in this reality that you and I are in now, this person's pretty bad, so I need to basically eliminate this person. And this Dr. Seuss individual said to me, he says, if you're really in tune with what's happening here, your thoughts will create reality. So as you're thinking it, it's happening. And I was thinking, like, what's this guy talking about? Now I know this is a very advanced reality compared to ours. And he said to me, just relax, go with it, and just remember your thoughts are creating the reality, but also everyone else's thoughts are creating reality. So you have to get in harmony with what's happening everywhere. And if you're trying to think of how to say it, if your version of reality is stronger than everyone else's, you can kind of force your idea of reality on people, on the individuals in this reality. So he said that's one of the ways that bad people, evil people are able to control things, because they're operating at a level in some respects higher than everyone else, and so they force this negative reality of theirs on everyone. And they're creating it, and there's no one there to fight back and say, no, I don't want this. This is my version. And the two versions kind of fight out. There's nothing like that occurring. So he said to me, in this reality, if you harmonize with it, you'll understand what everyone else is trying to create. And then if you bring yourself up to a higher level than those around you, your version of reality will become reality. And he said, that's your lesson for today. So, and then boom, he plops me down in this place. He seems to disappear. I'm with, and eventually I'm in this house, in this room with this individual that I know from this reality. Now, it's not someone I know well at all. It's just someone I knew through high school, and not well. Someone I saw, like you go to school and maybe you got 200-300 kids in your class, and you don't know everybody. You might know, I don't know, I knew maybe 50 kids where I could just stop and talk to them and know what's going on out of the 250 some in my graduating class. But anyway, so this was one of those peripheral people, fellow students that I knew of the person's existence, knew nothing about them. But interestingly enough, years later, like 25 years later, I got on Facebook for about 6 months, and then I quickly canceled my account because I just realized Facebook was not for me. It wasn't my vibe. it didn't resonate with me, so to speak. So, and on Facebook, I put some comments or something about what I was doing, and some of my fellow high school students, were connecting with me, and somehow this guy connected, and then he like attacked me for something I had said, like verbally attacked me, and I was thinking, whoa, where'd that come from? That's kind of a weird thing. I wasn't even talking about this other issue, but this guy took my comment, that way, and then he kind of warped it into something else and then came at me with this like political deal. And I was thinking, that's the strangest thing, So I made a comment to the guy, like, in a very nice way, like, I don't think you understand what we're talking about. We're talking about, ABC, and then you came at it with XYZ. That's a little crazy, man. Why don't you just step back and observe the conversation? Well, that made him wild. Just bam, bam, bam. Then he I think he must have like reposted my original Facebook comment, and then suddenly I had like 19 other people that I didn't know from my high school graduating class sending me all these negative comments. So and I remember thinking, like, who is this character, And then I went back and saw him in the yearbook, and I thought, he was one of these dirtball kids. And when I say dirtball, I don't know if anyone understands the meaning, but a dirtball would be someone who didn't do well in school, didn't care about doing well in school, at least smoked cigarettes. So we had like a smoking area in between classes. Students and some of the teachers would run out to this smoking area. Even in the winter time, it was 20 below, they would run out there and, had to smoke their cigarette. Sometimes these dirtballs came from a lower economic standing than everyone else. I don't know if that's an important part of my explanation or not, but it was just, like low achievers with no motivation, didn't like school, skipped school sometimes, never studied for exams, and smoked. So that would be what we would call a dirtball in those days. So anyway, yeah, the kid was like a dirtball. So it was kind of shocking, but funny in a way that, wow, this person that I had no contact with, just had seen him only, had never talked to him in the years of the years I was in high school. And then here I am, now about 34 years later after high school, in another, a 5-dimensional reality with this individual who's there to clean things up, who's telling me, yeah, there's someone here that you're acquainted with, and I got to take him out. So, and explaining to me how this 5D reality works and how our thoughts create the reality. And it was the strangest experience. I'm in this, just events lead to where I get in this house. I'm sitting in this room, and then this guy comes in from high school, right? This character comes in, and he proceeds to tell me how he never liked me. And of course, in this reality, there is a lot of mind reading. Individuals can read minds, and so some of our conversation is speaking, with our mouths and making sounds and words, and some of the conversations like mental back and forth. And he's telling me with his, speaking as I'm speaking now, saying, I never liked you in high school, and this and this and that, and you were a jerk, you thought you were better than everybody else. And I was thinking, no, geez, I didn't think that at all. In my high school, I was a top student, by the way, and I'm not just saying that to be egotistical, but I skipped a couple years of high school, so I was ahead of people, and I think some people had a chip on their shoulder that this younger guy came along and took the top spot or whatever, and I was thinking to myself, well, why did you even care? You didn't even like high school, and I kept a pretty low profile, for being a academically sound individual, I actually liked art, fine art, the best. So I spent all my free time in the art room, drawing and making ceramics and, just all kinds of, that's where I focused all my energy was in art. So I couldn't understand, why this guy had a chip on his shoulder for me. So long story short, so we're talking back and forth, and then I said something to the guy to the effect that, man, you better watch out because, and I don't want to say what I said, but you better watch out because something could happen. And at that moment, as I was thinking the words and they were coming out of my mouth, I had this, I don't know, I want to call it an enlightenment, where I saw how everything in this reality was connected. And I saw that, oh, my thought is coming out as a word, and as the thought hit my lips, it was already happening in this reality. And boom, Dr. Seuss pops up and takes this person out. And the exact thought that I had and what I said was related to the way he was taken out. It was it was really hard to wrap my head around, and I'm still trying to, come to terms with it. Not that it like shocked me or negatively affected me in any way, but it's just that how do you explain something? And I kind of feel like, years ago, Cliff High, when he's doing those Webbot reports, the Alta reports, he would come upon something and he would say, well, we don't have any words for it. There's no words to describe this, so I'm going to describe it this way. And I always, thought to myself, wow, wouldn't that be a challenging thing? You're seeing something that no one has ever put a word to yet. So I feel that's what this fifth dimension reality is I don't quite have the words yet to describe everything. So it's very intense. So I'm sorry, I got way off on this this tangent about that, and it all started because I said, I haven't been able to sleep. I'm getting these huge downloads of information now for over 2 years. And last night I was watching, I was on YouTube a little bit, and I saw a video. I can't remember the YouTube person. It might have been, their channel might have been called Angel Souls or something like that. I could be wrong. And this woman was saying, the video was, if you wake up between 3 and 5 in the morning, it could have meaning, blah, 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 blah. And she was saying, well, if you don't know why you're waking up, you should ask at that moment when you wake up, say, hey, why did you wake me up? Why am I waking up? What's going on here? So last night I did that. I woke up at some time, I don't know what time it was, and I was super groggy, of course, and I just said in a low voice, why did you wake me up? What's going on with all of this? Tell me the reason. Show me the reason. And boom, I was back to sleep. Had all of these dreams, which I now don't remember because I'm up and awake. But I did sleep for 6 hours. So that was good. So anyway, it's interesting how a person can, only get 2 to 3 hours of sleep at a time and still function every day. Like I feel like I have tons of energy. My mental capacity seems to be increasing as the months go on, the weeks and months go on. I'm able to understand a lot of things, helping my kids with math, doing some advanced mathematics. I never did a lot of that stuff in high school or college. Now I understand it. I don't know how I understand it. I've never studied it. A lot of things with science too and physics. I just understand it. What's going on with that? Okay, enough of that. Let's get to the crypto stuff. So this is the daily update. Holy mackerel, how long have I been talking? I don't have my glasses on here. Things are looking a little fuzzy to me today. Wow, is that 13 minutes or 19 minutes? I think it's 19 minutes. Okay. Man, 19 minutes and I haven't even gotten to it yet. So this is the November 25th daily crypto update. My apologies for going off on a tangent, but sometimes the tangents are really fun. Okay, holy moly, what's going on with the crypto market? Is this thing going to keep going down? I've gotten a couple messages from people. I mentioned last week in one of my updates, it was probably Thursday or Friday if I'm not mistaken. I follow a couple people on Twitter, these traders, just because I don't I'm not interested in the trading mindset, about all of the stuff that goes with trading. Years ago, I did study trading and just lost interest in it. But even though I'm not interested in it, I still think there could be value in seeing what someone has to think to give me a different perspective on things, because I don't want to get so focused on what I think that I don't consider what other people think anymore. So I'm looking at these guys, and there's an astrologer. I think it's a guy. I'm not sure. And his name is Crypto something something. Like I said, I don't want to say his name. I don't want to call him out and make the guy look bad. And he made some claims as to when the market would do well, when there would be some high prices. And today's the 25th. And by today, as far as this guy is concerned, we should be hitting a high. We should be hitting a high in Bitcoin. And now, to be fair to the guy, I don't know where he lives in the world. And I'm not like trying to slam him or say he's wrong. It's just that someone, I follow these guys on Twitter, these traders, and they often comment about this guy. And then recently someone sent me a message and said, hey, this is what this guy thinks. Maybe it'll be some value. So I just, saved this little post that they sent me. So he said that, Bitcoin would hit a high starting from today. Would be very, very good from today, the 25th. And to be fair to him, I'm in Asia, and it's the 25th for me in the morning here, about 10:30 now that I've been gabbing a while. But it's still the 24th if that guy's in America or somewhere. So, I don't, or in Europe. I don't want to, say that he's totally wrong. So it's interesting that, and there's when I was looking last night to confirm what this guy had said, because I just saw like a retweet on Twitter, so I was trying to go back and see his original tweet, what he had said. There were other people who seemed to be using astrology on Twitter, and they're giving advice and whatnot, and they all agreed with him. So I was thinking, what's happening here? All of these people are agreeing. So on some level, they're all seeing the same thing, but the reality is different. Now, is this part of what Cliff High said, a number of years ago, that the crypto market will get to a point where even traders, will not be able to predict how the thing moves? Is that where we're getting to? I don't know. There must be some extreme manipulation, I think. There must be some extreme manipulation for things to be going like this. That's all I can think about. The reason, Now, a number of months ago, I think maybe 2 months ago, I posted a video on YouTube, and I had a number of dreams, and then my guides had explained these dreams to me, these things that I was seeing, like these visions about how the crypto market was controlled. There were groups of people controlling the crypto market. And they would have, meetings, and they would get together and say, okay, we're going to make the price do this, we're going to make the price do that. So I would guess that sort of manipulation is occurring. It's still occurring. And so it's just a fact of life. We have to deal with it, right? So lots of experts, unable to, when I say experts, I guess I'm talking about people, sorry about that, I had to move my camera. People who are really studying these things carefully, even they're having a tough time. Even some of these traders, now that I say, talk about Twitter, some of these traders, these guys, they charge a couple $100 a month to their subscribers to give them, what would you say, a heads up on what's going to happen with prices. Even now, I follow 5 guys in that department. I don't pay the money every month, but I just see what they post on Twitter, right? And 3 of those 5 guys said, man, we don't know what's going on. We are stepping away from the market. In fact, 2 of the guys said, I've gotten rid of all my cryptos. I've got everything in cash, and I'm just sitting on the sidelines because I don't know what's going to happen. So that was pretty interesting. I thought that they would come out and say that. So I took it as, there must be extreme manipulation if it's gotten to the point where even these guys can't figure out what's going to happen next. Okay. So let's get into this. As you know, the market is down, and now I've been pricing everything. Even though I don't put out updates on the weekend, I do make a little, I add the information from each day to an Excel spreadsheet, so I've got the information from every day, even this past Saturday and Sunday. And let's see. So if we look at, how do I want to do this? Because I have two different pieces of information I want to talk about here. Well, let's just look at the prices. So now, as far as I'm concerned, Bitcoin is $6,767. Bitcoin Cash is 200. So if I had one Bitcoin today, I could buy 33.8 Bitcoin Cash. Well, how about last Friday? How did things look last Friday? Well, let's see. Last Friday was the 22nd, right? Well, last Friday, the price of Bitcoin was $7,654, and Bitcoin Cash was 226. If I had one Bitcoin last Friday, I could have bought 33.86 Bitcoin Cash. Well, that hasn't really changed, has it? Today it's 33.8 Bitcoin Cash if I had one Bitcoin. And on Friday it was 33.86. So just that, 0.06 difference, not a huge difference. Now if we go like to Saturday, well, Saturday that number went up. If you had a Bitcoin, you could have bought 34.74 Bitcoin. And as of Sunday, it was still hovering around 34, but now it's gone down a little bit. It's 33.8. So although the prices of these things have gone down, the relative value hasn't really changed. Well, let's see if we can, as I'm looking today, in fact, like Stellar is at 5.6 cents. That's really down, isn't it? It's down. The price is down, 4% from yesterday. I haven't gauged it from last Friday, but Stellar has actually gained strength against Bitcoin a little bit. Tezos, Tezos has been hanging on. Yeah, my buddy Tezos. Tezos is at $1.27. Hasn't really moved at all. Everything has been dropping like crazy. Tezos has held on. It's down 5% from yesterday, and it's still gained strength from Bitcoin. Now, if I go back, let's see, Tezos here. If I go back to the 24th, Tezos was at $1.34. Now today it's $1.27. So from Saturday to Sunday, Tezos went up 17.5%. It gained a tremendous amount against Bitcoin. If you took one Bitcoin on Saturday and then you bought Tezos, and then you took a second Bitcoin on Sunday and bought Tezos, on Sunday you would have gotten 900 less Tezos. So Tezos, man, it really just jumped ahead on Sunday. The price went. So on Saturday you could have bought 6,248 Tezos, and then just overnight to Sunday, let's see, my Excel thing is getting a little funny here. Just overnight, if you had a Bitcoin and bought Tezos on Sunday, you would only get 5,347. So you get 900 less. So this is the kind of thing that's really interesting to me. Really, it's very important information, is to see what's the relative value of these coins compared to Bitcoin. So Tezos is a huge winner, and even on Saturday, looking on Sunday at Stellar was up 6.5% in its dollar price, and it also gained a fair bit of strength against Bitcoin. And even today, on the 25th, looking at Stellar, it's down 4% in dollar terms, but it still has gained on Bitcoin. So that's what we're looking for. Doge is down almost 5% in dollar terms, but it gained against Bitcoin. Veritasium, same thing. It's down almost 2% in dollar terms. It's like $15.27 right now, but it gained on Bitcoin. So That's pretty interesting. Now, other things are really down, of course. Oh man, one of my favorites, EOS, is down. Let's see, just from yesterday, it's down 8.5%. Okay, I'm going to switch over. I'm going to stop the video here just briefly, and then I'm going to turn it back on because I've got this other thing I want to look at and talk about. And so I'll make a like a JPEG of it and put it up on the screen when I'm talking. Okay, so just 1 second. Okay, for this part here, we're looking at, we got Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, XRP, EOS, Stellar, Cardano, NEO, Tezos, and OMG. Okay, if you look here, I've got the price in dollars up above from the 22nd, which was Friday, the 23rd, Saturday, the 24th, Sunday, and then today, the 25th. So those are the prices in dollar terms of these cryptocurrencies. So you can see everything has gone down. Everything except Tezos. Tezos is looking pretty good. But everything else has gone down. Everything else. Even even NeoGas. Now I bought NeoGas at $1.30 and I was happy with it. I was happy with that. I'm not complaining. It's at 95 cents. Okay. If I had waited, man, I could have gotten more, but I'm happy with it. I have no problem with it. I have no emotional attachment to this outcome, right? Which I think is important. Now, one thing I should mention, over the weekend, I traded a little bit of NEO. One thing I've encountered the last couple of weeks especially is that I'll look at things and say, yeah, I think this is going to go down or this is going to go up. And just when I want to make the trade, I'm either on my way to work or I'm working with someone, right? I'm with a client and there's no way I can access an exchange to make a buy or a sell. So I've had that happen a number of times the last few weeks, and I've missed out on some what I would call good trades, good solid trades. And so this weekend I thought, well, I finally have a chance where I can sit in front of my computer for a while and do something. And I traded NEO, a tiny bit of NEO, made a little bit on it, not a lot. I didn't want to, I should have hung on to it until today and then bought back today. But then again, it's a weekday, I've got things to do here. Luckily today I don't have anything to do until the afternoon, but I didn't want to be in a position where something happened because, I've got 3 kids, right? And, sometimes something comes up and you got to help your kids out. Like my oldest son, he's 18, he's out of school. I've got my middle son who's in high school. My youngest son's in elementary school. Once in a while something comes up and they need your help, or I forgot that there was an event at school or something, and oh boy, now I've got to scramble and get to school to watch this school play or whatever. So I didn't want to be stuck in that position to where I've got this, I've sold some NEO and now I'm waiting to buy back, and the price is looking good, but now I got to shoot off to something over here, and I'll miss it. So anyway, long story short, I did some trading on NEO. It was okay. I made back a little bit, not as much as if I could have done it several days ago during the week, but it is what it is, So anytime you can make a trade and gain a little bit, that's successful, I think. And one of my other rules is don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. So okay, so I was able to trade NEO a little bit. NeoGas, I bought at 130. It's 95. It's down 35 cents. I'm okay. That's down a huge amount, right? 35 cents is huge if you started out at $1.30. But I'm okay with it. I have no problem with it whatsoever. Now, let's see my other favorite coins. EOS. I thought EOS at $3.50 was a fantastic buy. I didn't get any at that time. Now it's at $2.39, which is even lower. It's a buck less. I won't get any. Why? Because one of my rules is I'm not putting any more money into the market. I think I put enough money in, and now it's up to me to use my smarts, as we used to say when I was a kid. Use your smarts to increase the number of coins I have. Now I did have some stable coins. I had an order to get, I wanted to get Litecoin at, I had 2 orders. Litecoin at $38.50. I took that, I canceled that, and I used it to buy, those stable coins to buy Neogas. Now, some of you might be saying, man, that was a bad move, dude, because, you know, Litecoin might go down to $38.50 because it's at 40, what's it at now, $43? Yeah, it could. I'm okay with it though. And then I also had an order in, but I stopped this order last month for XRP at 21 cents. I'm looking today, XRP is at 21 cents. So that would have come true. I would have been able to get that. Wasn't a huge amount of XRP that I would have gotten with it. It was just kind of a fun thing. You know, I just put some trades out there to see if they would happen. So, you know, if the Litecoin happens at $38.50 and I didn't get it, I'm okay because I got Neogas and I think that will be very valuable in the future. Okay, so I think what I'm trying to say here in a very roundabout way is I think a lot of us have gotten in the market. Maybe we bought at a high price, maybe we bought at a low price. If you've been able to buy low and sell high, hey, that's great. Kudos to you, right? You know, congratulations. A lot of people have just been hodling, right? Just been hanging on. Even when things got really high, they held on. Boom, now they're down. People are still holding on. My thing is, if you can bring yourself to sell when things are high, I think you'll do okay. All right, so things are down now, but things have been down before, right? I've seen on some of these coins, I've seen much lower prices. So I'm feeling pretty good. Even if things dip down, I'm okay with it. I truly believe that, and this is a belief that I came to, what can I say? I came to the realization back in 2018, the beginning of 2018, cryptos went up really high and then they slowly went down, 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 right? And they've never reached those all-time highs since then. And what I feel like happened is that the powers that be, the elites, whatever you want to, you know, whatever label you want to give to things or to people, I think that group of people did not think cryptos would take off with us because we're like the early adopters, right? They did not think cryptos would take off with us. And then when they saw the potential and how high things got, they got really nervous. They got extremely nervous and said, man, we got to shut this thing down and get control over it. So I think all of this time there's been a huge scramble by the powers that be to get control of these markets. I don't think they'll be successful with all of them, but I think they've had successes in the past. Someone now is doing it, I think. And it's just a part of life. So knowing that it's being controlled by someone or some group or a number of people, whether they're working independently or working together in concert, doesn't really matter to me. It's just understanding that has reinforced the idea that, hey, when we get a chance, we've got to take some profits. Because there's always going to be ups, there's always going to be downs. And we've had so many downs over the last 2 years, right? So many downs. We've had some ups, you know, not bad ups, but we've really seen some downs. So just remember that there's going to be this up and down in the market, right? So when you can, take some profits. Take some profits. And over this weekend, I did a lot of thinking about this, a lot of thinking. And I have some, once again, you know, I've got these, you know, I love Excel. I used to hate Excel. Oh, I hated Excel, but now I understand Excel, how it can be powerful, and you put formulas in and it calculates all this stuff for you. And I'm thinking that I should add another video to our Crypto Beginner Library showing everyone these Excel sheets that I've created. Now, I was given someone gave me a sheet. I don't know who did this. It was for Digibyte or something, you know, and a very, very detailed Excel sheet. And you simply had to put in how many Digibyte you had and at what the average price that you bought your Digibyte at. If you put those two numbers in, it would adjust all of these figures in this table, or I shouldn't say a table, but in this Excel spreadsheet. And so that was good, but I found the person had a mistake. They had a mistake in one of the cells. You know, Excel has these little cells, right? Someone had made a mistake with their formula in one of the cells, and of course that one mistake at the beginning kind of skewed all the numbers after that. So luckily I found the mistake, I fixed it, and then since then I've taken it a step further and calculated, you know, how many coins, of all the coins I have, I've separated each coin off into a different Excel sheet, and then I've calculated how many coins am I willing to give up to get back my initial investment. So for example, let's say I'm just, I'm a crazy guy and I've got like 1,500 EOS, for example. That'd be great if I had that many, but anyway, let's just say I have 1,500 EOS. So I've got the number of coins I've got, the average price for each one. So I know I've invested, you know, this amount here. And then I've just said to myself, okay, I'd be willing to give up this many of my EOS to get my original investment back. And then the remaining coins, I'm going to wait as long as I can until they hit these different price targets that I've decided in this Excel spreadsheet. So I think it might be a really valuable thing for all of us here if I made another Crypto Beginner library video detailing that, because once you see those numbers, then you're kind of like, oh, okay, well, if I'm willing to give up, you know, this many of my coins, for example, XRP, if I give up, you know, 1,000 XRP, I can almost get my investment back if it hits this price. And then I'm just dealing with the cream, right? Then I've got all my money back. I don't have to think that I've lost anything. So I've already done that for all of my coins, and probably that's giving me incredible peace of mind, especially, you know, when I was able to double my NEO a couple months ago. I doubled my NEO, my OMG I increased by 91%. So then I really started to feel like, oh man, yeah, now you're like playing with house money, right? It's like you're at a casino, you hit the jackpot. Now you can spend a little bit more, you know, even take some off the table, and you still got, you know, more than your original investment sitting out there in the market. So that's a very comfortable place to be in, you know, mentally, right? Okay, so sorry for the digression there. Now let's look at the prices here again. I really apologize for getting off. Today must be the day for getting off on wild tangents. Okay, if you look at this thing here, we're looking from Bitcoin to OMG. You can see that I've got EOS, Cardano, and OMG as a buy. Now, really, Cardano hasn't gone down that much. You know, we started out on the 22nd with 3.8 cents. Now we're at 3.4 cents. It's not a huge difference, okay? And we look here at the percent of all-time high in green. Cardano's at 2.6% of its all-time high. And if it had to go up to its all-time high, what percent would it increase? Looking at the purple box here, the pinkish purple box, or the purple tone, it would have to go up 3,741% to reach it. So that's not bad. If we look at, for example, OMG is at 72 cents. Pretty similar numbers, right? It's 2.57% of its all-time high, and it would have to go up 3,787% to reach its all-time high. So those look pretty good to me. Now I know what you're saying, because some of you haven't seen these new metrics that I've got here, and I apologize. There's one more metric I've got that I didn't put in this video, and it's the percentage of the 1 year all-time high. I didn't put that in here. I really apologize. I just noticed as I'm looking at it, I didn't, and I will make sure I get it into another video so that the black coffee tier, people can see that also. But that's So that's just telling you what percent of the 1-year all-time high have these coins reached. And that's not as important, in my opinion, as this green and purple tone colors here, the percent of all-time high and the percentage to the all-time high. I think these will give us more valuable information. Okay, so now EOS, if you look at EOS, it's one of the lower numbers here. It's at 10% of its all-time high, and it's only going to go up 857% to reach its all-time high. So you might say to yourself, well, why would I buy EOS when it looks like Cardano is a much better deal? And as I talked about last week in one of my updates, there's a lot we don't know with the crypto market. Now, this percentage to all-time high idea, I think, is a very powerful idea. And as I mentioned previously, no one really knows how to gauge the crypto market. They don't know what price targets to put. I don't care who you ask. You can take someone from any top university in the States or in Europe or in Asia and ask them, give a prediction for the price trend of cryptocurrencies. Here's a basket of cryptocurrencies. Tell me the price trend. What do you think is going to happen? The only metric they could use would be the all-time high, because this market doesn't have a lot of history. It's a very young market. There's not a lot of data that a person could look at to say, well, in the past it did this, so it might do this. I don't care who they are, they would eventually have to go back to this all-time high idea. Okay, that's why I'm looking at it here. Now, there's one other thing we don't know. We don't know. And this is also something I mentioned last week, and I'm glad I remembered to say it again today. Okay, the all-time high prices for cryptos, it was back in what, was it January of 2018? Around that time, December 2017, January 2018, the market capitalization, the total market capitalization of cryptocurrencies was over 800 billion, right? It might have been 880 billion. I forget the exact number offhand, but it was over $800 billion. Okay. Well, what's going to happen when more adoption takes place, when there's more mass adoption taking place in the crypto market? And let's just, for the sake of conversation, say that now we have 3% of the population involved in cryptos. I don't know if it's 3%. Let's just say it's 3% for the sake of our conversation here. So now we've got 3%, and the market's really down, right? It's really down. The total market capitalization is nowhere near 800, right? I think we're probably below 300 if I'm not mistaken. It's not a number I look at too often. So let's say that with the percent, this 3%, we were able to hit, the 800 and some billion dollars for the total market capitalization, the market cap as it's called. Well, what's going to happen when 6% of the population or 10% of the population now get into cryptos? Well, that should make the market capitalization go up higher than 800 billion. It should easily go over $1 trillion. Maybe it'll go to $3 or $4 trillion. $3 or $4 trillion. That's a crazy amount of money. When that happens, we don't know what the price of cryptos will do. And I think there's going to be cryptocurrencies like EOS that, looking here, we say, well, it doesn't, it's 857% to its all-time high. That's not as attractive as like OMG or Cardano, for instance. Yeah, but I think EOS is going to be one of these cryptos that we don't know what's going to happen. We look at the all-time high. This is just an educated guess of where these things could go. I think a cryptocurrency like EOS is going to shoot past that. It's going to really shoot past that. So that's why, there's a reason my guides are pushing me towards EOS, NeoGAS, and Veritasium. There's a reason. I wasn't interested in them at all. I wake up one morning, I have a voice telling me, look at these cryptocurrencies. I didn't pay attention to it the next morning. Look at these cryptocurrencies. Okay, that's 2 days in a row. I know from prior experience that I'd better start looking at this if they've told me 2 times in a row, because I know if I don't, I'll wake up tomorrow and they'll tell me a 3rd time. Okay? So that's the thing. We don't know where it's going to go. I'm making an educated guess with these all-time highs. However, it may not be that way. You know, we could take for OMG, for example, right? It would have to go up 3,787% to reach its all-time high. Well, what if it goes up 10,000%? Because everyone loves the name OMG. You got all these newbies coming into the crypto market, pumping up the market cap. OMG now is up 10,000%, something that no one would have thought. That's the wild card that we don't know. But I do think it's going to happen with some of these cryptocurrencies. So for me, EOS is a buy. It was a buy at $3.50, and absolutely I would buy it today at $2.39 if I was inclined to put more money in the market. Now, I told you my rule is I don't put more money into the market because I want to do, I want to take what I already have and increase it, using my smarts, right? Doing some intelligent trading and increasing it. But there are, if some of these coins got to like crazy, crazy low prices, I might say, well, this is a no-brainer. Now I should step in. However, that is my rule. My rule is not to add any more money. Another rule is don't be greedy. So I'm really trying to hold those rules, but I'll be the first to admit if certain cryptocurrencies got to what I would call a stupidly low price, I would buy some. I wouldn't put a ton of money in because I don't think you would need a ton of money, but I would jump in and get some. Okay, so what you can see here, EOS is a buy for me. Cardano, I have it as a buy, but I don't feel as strongly about Cardano, even though I'm saying it's a buy, as I do about EOS or OMG. EOS and OMG, I feel good about those. I really feel good about those. Cardano, I don't have any really feeling about it, but looking at the numbers, it seems okay. All right. Now I'm going to move to the second group of cryptocurrencies, and this goes from Digibyte, Theta, Ethereum, Monero, PundiX, Doge, NeoGas, and Veritasium. Now, I don't have any Ethereum. Well, I shouldn't say I don't have it. I have a little bit in my wallets just because you need it to send stuff back and forth at times. I don't have any Monero. I don't have any Veritasium. Speaking of Ethereum, this past weekend I was going to trade a number of coins. I told you I traded Neo. Well, I didn't tell you the whole story. I wanted to trade NeoGas, and I wanted to trade, what was it? Tezos. And Pundi. Yeah, Pundi. And it was the weirdest thing. I had so many tiny things happen that I couldn't trade anything except Neo. And then I was able to trade Neo, and I told you I didn't want to get stuck out on a Monday not being able to buy back, so I just closed my trade on Sunday. I made a little bit. That was good. But also, because I had trouble with these other things, I wasn't able to trade the other coins at all. It was like universe got in the way and said, nah, don't do this. Nah, don't do this. With Pundi, I wanted to send it. Not enough Ethereum in your wallet. Like, what? I've got Ethereum here. How come that's not enough? It should be enough. NeoGas, the exchange I was using, I could only exchange NeoGas for Bitcoin. I knew Bitcoin was going to go down, or I thought it was, and I didn't want to trade Neo, which is going down, for Bitcoin, which is going down, right? So I didn't do that. So anyway, there were like 4 other trades I wanted to do, and something got in the way in all of them. Even with Tezos, I was baking some Tezos, and I realized my baker has not made any, I haven't got any Tezos for, what was it? Almost 20 days. That's weird. Normally every 3 days, boom, I get Tezos. Every 3 days. It's been that way for 6 months. And I went back and looked, and the first 3 days of November, nothing. The first 4 days, nothing, sorry. Day 5, boom, I got a little bit. Day 6 got a little bit. Day 7 got a little bit. And then nothing. Nothing. So I guess it's not 20 days. Well, close to 20 days. And then nothing until now. And I thought, what's going on? So to me, that was a red flag. That was a red flag. Oh, okay, get out of this. Get out of it. So I moved all my Tezos that I had there. And this is something I've been thinking about for a while, because I can make a lot more Tezos trading than I could baking them. So that's what I'll do from now on. So anyway, all these little things happened, and I felt like the universe was saying to me, no, don't do this. Just sit tight. Just sit tight. You know, everybody's probably panicking. Prices are getting lower. Maybe people are selling, you know, whatever. There's like a lot of nervous energy in the market. Just chill out, Larry. Just chill out. Okay, so looking at these here from Digibyte down to Veritasium. Pundi X, look at that. It's at 0.86% of its all-time high. And then it would have to increase 11,470% to reach its all-time high. That is nuts. That is crazy nuts. Next to it, it says crazy buy. Why? Number one, you'd have to be crazy. You'd have to be crazy to buy Pundi. But if you bought it and it went up, you could get crazy rich from it. So I'm calling it a crazy buy. I wanted to sell this last week at 154. Like I said, I couldn't. It was like, you know, no Ethereum here, no Ethereum there. I've got some of my Ethereum, you know, I don't have a lot of Ethereum, and the amounts I have in my other wallets I want to keep because I want to send other things in the future. So I thought, okay, I'm not moving the Pundi because I don't want to buy more Ethereum. But that would be a crazy buy to get more Pundi. Absolutely a crazy buy. Okay, NeoGas, like everyone knows, I got it for 130. Now it's 95. I still think NeoGas is a good deal. It's a buy price, absolutely, for me. And then Veritasium, watch. Last week I talked about Veritasium. If it hits $15, that's my buy price. That's my buy price. So it's in my buy range right now. It's just that I don't have any coins that I want to trade for it. I had some stable coins left over from my trading from July to September, which I did very well, and I forgot I had, you know, close to $80 of stable coins left over, and that's what I got my NeoGas with. So Veritasium is in a very good position. I've been watching it. It's my buy price is $15 even. It's very close to that. So I've got to think about, okay, what can I trade to get some Veritasium? So that's the tricky thing, right? I mean, I may do some trades with another coin, make a little bit of money, and then when I have that new profit, Veritasium might be over $15, right? So that's all something you have to think about, which makes it fun and challenging, which is good, I think. Okay, so let's see. Looking at Digibyte, Digibyte is at, if we look at the green box, right, is 4.36% of its all-time high. That's what the green box means. And it would have to go up 2,193% to reach its all-time high. So that doesn't, you know, you see the other three that have the green and purple boxes there, which is Pundi X, NeoGas, and Veritasium. They look more attractive numbers-wise than Digibyte does. But I've had a great feeling about Digibyte from day one. I've had a really good feeling about Digibyte, and no matter what other people have told me about Digibyte, I've never lost that good feeling, that good impression from the beginning. So I think I don't have, you know, buy next to Digibyte here. I should, because I've never bought it for I've never bought it for 0.6 of a penny. Okay, right now it's at 0.6 of a penny. That's crazy, you know. Think about that. If your kid had $1, they could buy how many, you know, Digibyte, right, with $1. That's just a nutty price, a crazy low price. So that's another coin. If someone was looking to pick up a good deal, Okay, I'm going to write that in there right now. I think by the time you guys see this, you've already seen the buy in there, and I haven't written it in, but I'm going to put that in because that is just a fantastic price for that. You know, saying that theta is also a good deal, but I actually like Digibyte better than theta. Although theta is on my list, which means it's an important coin to me, and I think it will do very well in the future. But you know, right now, looking at the numbers and how I feel about it, Digibyte wins. Okay, and yeah, look at NeoGas here. It would have to go up 10,093% to reach its all-time high. And I think a lot of these coins, I think probably all of these coins, other than, let's see, I'm a little shaky on PoonDX. PoonDX is the one that I'm rolling the dice on. Okay, I picked that coin, I'm rolling the dice on it, but everything else I feel very solid about in my basket here. Very, very solid. I think more than likely they will all reach their all-time highs in the future. I don't know when, but I think they will. And so these percentages then will become very important to look at and to know, right? However, as I said earlier about EOS, I love EOS. I have a really good feeling about EOS, and even though the numbers, you know, the percent it would have to raise up to its all-time high are not as high as some of these other ones like NeoGas at 10,000% or Veritasium at 3,429%, I still really like it and think it will do extremely well. Okay, I can see this video is super long. I really apologize for making it this long. Hopefully it's enjoyable. It's not boring. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. I'm always interested to hear that. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. And if you have some time, you know, spend it with people you love, doing the things you love. Okay, everybody, take care, and I will see some of you tomorrow.